All right, so we're talking about two models to $10,000, two paths to get there, if you will. And the path number one that I want to talk about is the virtual closing path. And virtual closing is where you are a contractor. That means you're like a 1099. You own your schedule. The benefits. Well, let's go over the benefits, which is kind of what we were doing there. But the benefits of this is that it's flexible. You can work Monday through Friday or through Saturday. The benefits of this is that you don't do marketing. No buying leads. That's probably 100% English, but whatever. No buying leads. No teams to hire. The con side of it is that it's lower. So you're getting paid, let's say, like $500, $700 per deal. That's the lower side of things. You do need to be doing 20 to 40 hours. That's like mandatory. All right. It is a form of sales. Some people consider it a con side. I don't see it as a downside, but we'll call it downside actually. Downside $507 per deal, so it's not like super high ticket. But to have a conversation to make that kind of money is good. But compared to path number two, which we're going to go over, we'll talk about this. So this is actually being a coaching company, and the benefits is that you can get whatever you want if the market will pay for it. So you could be getting $2,000 to $5,000 per transaction if you want to, if your market will pay for it. That's the thing. It's whatever the market's willing to pay for it, but it's just about where it's going to be at. And the thing is, though, at these numbers, though, all you need is one for the month. You see what I'm saying? Like it doesn't, it doesn't take a lot of volume. You need volume. The benefits here is that you can do 10 hours if you want. You can do whatever you want. You just got to do the thing. Like you got to create the marketing and sell the thing. And that's kind of the downside of this is that, you do the marketing. You create the offer. You study the niche. But you can do $2,000 to $5,000. And the thing is, there's also more responsibility on you. Way more responsibility on you. And that's the downside. The benefits of virtual closing, for example, there's less responsibility. That's the benefits. That's the upside of this. Less responsibility. You can kind of you can leave work at work. Whereas if you own the company, what are you doing? Like you're thinking about it, You're thinking about your next move a lot. And if you enjoy what you do, this is not a bad thing. But for some people are kind of like, well, which one fits more like me? Okay. Which one of these works for you? And it depends on what it just depends on where you're at in your life. Like that's what everything's dependent on. So here's the two paths to 10K months. You're like, well, how's this a path? Well, I'm not done. The two paths to 10K months. Okay, so this is the paths. Green, bam. So never mind. So two paths 10K months is doing this and doing this. So the benefits of this is faster. The downside of this, not as fast as VC unless you're good at marketing. So how would we get to 10K months with path number one? So what does the path look like? The path looks like this. You get hired. You build up CRM. increase conversions. And let's say you're getting $1,000 per deal. So that would mean, 2 deals a week. Could it be less than this? Yes, it could be more. So that's the deal there. And with this here, your task for path number 1, you could be DMing people. You could be jumping on Zooms, following up, calling. Like, this is your main focus. And the downside is, another downside is you have to be okay with no's a lot. But the thing is, both of these guys got to deal with that. Like path 2 and path 1 have to deal with that. So that's just kind of how that is. And I'll get rid of that right there. Bam. So one you own the company, and the other one you have your own company. Like both of these, you have a company. Like your company, this. So another benefit of this is company inside of company, and you can write off taxes. That's a plus. And you create your own. Like this deal here is like, it's like a mall. Your business inside of a mall, like Chick-fil-A did. You remember when that Chick-fil-A was inside of malls? They probably still are. And they lived off that traffic, and then they created their own thing. So that's kind of like this. Some people do this. They get really good at it, and then they go do this. Like that happens so many times. But for example, the task for path number 2 is that you're creating offer. Okay? You're building traffic. You're buying ads or creating organic traffic. And I just want to tell you, don't live off of paid ads alone. Build up your organic traffic. Build up something that builds compound. That's why a lot of people do videos, why a lot of people do podcasts, that's why people build an email list. You're having to constantly hit, all right? And finding the right niche. So, like, probably the number one reason this fails at path 2 is people just don't have the right niche. Like, that's probably one of the biggest things, is that they just don't have the right niche in place. So that's what I'd say. Because path number 2, the number one thing, I'm trying to think of the number one thing that stops people at becoming a good coaching company. It's just sticking with it. Like just finding a person that you really want to help, a specific type of person that you want to help, and then just building things and helping that. Like, the niche is the foundation. Like you being dedicated to a type of person. And that type of person has no problem investing in themselves, and they've kind of proven that. Right? It's kind of like when Hormozi took over the gym world, like gym owners already, proved like they was willing to invest, because they already had like tens of thousands with equipment, and they've already hired people and all that. Where with this, no niche study needs to happen. Like, you don't need to know any of that. Like, all you need to know how much the company doing. Are they doing 100 grand months? Okay, cool. So that means that, okay, I get 5% of that if I come in and do the work. Yeah, okay. So it's already proven. It's like a river that already flows. Like the water's there. It's moving. You put your boat in and you just go downstream, and hopefully it's the right direction. But if the company that you're joining up with is doing 100, 200 grand months at minimum, and you convince them to use you, then you're going to be fine. But the thing is getting hired. And I'll put this as the hard part. The hard part of this is just going to be getting hired and then just simply converting the deals. Like that's just going to be the hard part, is getting hired. And if you can get hired and then convert and then just show up, like, you'll be fine. And what makes it harder or easier is the type of leads. So I shouldn't say get hired, but get hired by the right company. Like that in itself is so important. Whereas over here, the downside, this is Monday through Sunday in your mind. But there are people in this, who are doing, I mean, here's the deal. You can do 500K months doing this. That's not going to be easy. Like, you're the top of the top. And that's why 10K is just going to be simpler to do. And the thing is, though, the benefits is you only need, 2 to 4 customers a month. That's it. Where the other one, you need more, like path. So you see the pros and cons, they kind of balance each other out, and it just depends on you. Can I tell you the easier one, 10K months, is probably going to be this one here. Probably. Right? But then again, you got to sell more. You got to sell more of it. But most of the hard things has been done, though. That's the thing. Most of the hard things have been complete. So that's just it. Like that's just that. And then the hard part here with path number 2 is finding right niche. That's a hard thing because a lot of people's broke. And you got to skip that. You got to skip the broke people. You got to help people with money with their problems. If you help people with no money with their problems, you're just going to get no money, and they kind of solve problem, right? So finding the right niche. You need to be floating. You need to be floating cash positive. Like, you need to be in the positive, because paying people in ads, right? You really need to be doing. And what I would recommend if you become a coach, I would say my advice is start off with you and maybe 1 or 2 VAs and get it and just get it to like 40K, 50K months. Like that's what I'd recommend. And just be very dependent on software. I mean, be dependent on softwares, because then when you have the responsibility of a lot of other people, right? That's just the thing. So that would be my advice. Start off with you, maybe 1 or 2 VAs, and get it 40, 50K months. So that way no one's affected. Like, everyone's good, and then you guys just grow together, because you don't want to be a Facebook where they're firing 10,000 people today. Like, you don't want to be that person. That's not cool. So yeah, here's the So here's the 2 paths to 2K to 10K months. It's getting hired up. The thing with this, like I would say the key to this is creating traffic organically. Like, if you can create traffic organically, because people talk about how easy paid ads is. Paid ads is not easy. By far, it's not easy. And the reason it's not easy is because Facebook targeting is not what it used to be. YouTube targeting is not what it used to be. And you really need a solid niche. Like, you really need a solid niche. Now, can you make it work? Yes. Are most people want to make it work? No. So you just need to make sure, like, honestly, I would say do this. I would say do path 1. Build. If this is about being virtual as soon as possible, I would say do this. This can get you out of a job real quickly. This can get you home. This can get you selling high. Like, I would recommend this here. Now, can you get fired? Yes. Which is why a lot of people join us. We feed them, solid companies just in case something happens. They just jump on another company. They're fine. But you could be with one company for 3 years. You could be with one company for, as long as you're crushing it, as long as it's a life of that company, if they like your numbers, right? You just got to get a really solid CEO. But the thing is, though, you got to jump it at 20, 40 hours. That's the thing. You got to jump at 20, 40 hours, so you got to be willing to sacrifice there. Or you could do the coaching company thing and try to start off at 10 hours and see what you can. But honestly, though, if you jump into a path too, like, you don't have to do 20, 30 hours a week, but you want to do as many as you can, because the more hours you do, the faster you get to where you're going. So once again, there's just so many different paths here, so many directions to go, but it really depends on you. But this is the top 2 paths. I'd recommend 10K months. This one probably will be a little easier, a little faster, I believe. But this one, though, you get majority of the deal, and you own the whole company, where this is your company inside of a company. Okay, so that's what I would say.